Welcome to the 1000 Comics podcast, where the comics are pretty much just drawn together. We got a great show for you tonight. I talked to Zoe Zwilling. Z first name and Z last name. She must have been last for everything in school. Now that I think about it, that would have been something to talk to her about. Maybe she got picked last for everything since those Z's, all those Z's. She's always got to be like the last picture in the yearbook there. You know what I mean? I'll ask her about it some other time. There's plenty of shows. She'll be at the roast. She said they're having a roast for me at the Robot Brewing Company in Boca Raton. Because and I should probably officially announce on the podcast that I'm moving back to Connecticut. I'm leaving Florida. I had a great time these past 2 years in Florida. But I'm leaving. I'm moving on. Time to leave this old apartment behind where I record the 1000 Comics podcast. So we'll hear other comics, New York comics, Connecticut comics, 1000 comics. That's this Rolling Stone's got to keep on moving. But if you want to come see me for one final night of comedy, come to the roast of the Funky Buddha Janitor. That's me. It's my alter ego at the Robot Brewing Company, formerly known as the Funky Buddha Lounge. So come this Thursday, July 12th, and see me get roasted by some great comics. You're going to have Roastmaster Jay Guy, Mike Cintron's on the show, Nadeem Awad, Sarah Cutler, Kerrigan McCoy. Who else is on the show? It's slipping my mind who's on the dais right now. Hold on 1 sec, folks. I got the dais right here. Randy Vega's also on the show, Anthony Turzo, and there's going to be surprise guests too. So please come out this Thursday, July 12th, to the roast of the Funky Buddha Janitor at the Robot Brewing Company in Boca Raton. All right. So Zoe Zwilling, great conversation. We were really going to enjoy I might as well mention the word of the day, right? The 1000 Comics word of the day, which is, I have it here somewhere for you folks. Cabracaliath. And I can't even define it for you, or you're going to have to find that out during the podcast. Zoe Zwilling will define it for you. Okay, so I would just like to say that the 1000 Comics podcast is looking for sponsors. If you'd like to sponsor the show, please send an email to matthewheath.saga@gmail.com. That's Matthew Heath, SAGA @gmail.com. Until then, I'll pretty much be sponsoring myself. If you'd like to buy one of my plays, go to Amazon.com, type in Matt Heath in the search bar, and Renaissance Men will pop up. Also, Ms. Scrooge will pop up. And my newest play, Pawnbrokers, will also pop up. So those are 3 books you could buy on Amazon.com that I wrote. Now, without further ado, this is the interview I had with Zoe Zwilling. It's starting now.
Oh, shit. All right.
Welcome to the 1000 Comics podcast. I'm your host, Matt Heath, and I'm sitting here with Zoe Zwilling. Zwilling's how you pronounce it, right?
That's correct. That's right.
Awesome. Welcome to the show. I'm kind of excited because you're so eager. You were so eager to do the show. I think you didn't really know what the show was about before, but
Nope.
I said you've been binge listening on your way over here.
You're right. I was. I listened to the one you showed me with Hennessy, and then I listened to Chris Shepard, who I call Shepard's Pie.
Okay.
And then I listened to Kerrigan McCoy.
Oh, so you didn't take my suggestion of Tony Tata?
Yeah. Fuck your suggestion. I'm just kidding. No, I have Tatas. I don't need Tonys. I don't fucking need it. You know what? I'm out of here. I'm just kidding. I'm still in here. Wait. For starters, I just wanted to tell you how funny it was when I rolled up. Like, I was listening to the podcast and out of nowhere, I'm like, where are we right now? I was like, I'm going to call Matt Heath. I was like that stupid Facebook noise when they call you.
Right.
You're like, hi, I'm the janitor.
You were expecting I would be living in more of a predominantly white neighborhood, right?
I was like, listen, Matt. I'm like, wherever this thing has taken me, this is not your. What did I say? I said this is not your demographic,
right?
You know, but it was quite funny when I.
Well, the reason I live here, Zoe, is because I started teaching at Lake Worth High School, and I wanted to live close to the school, so I moved.
It's not your fault. In terms of Lake Worth,
right
I thought it was white people. That's all. No, I did. So when I was amused, I thought I would.
I understand.
I thought it was in Miami.
It just wasn't what you were expecting.
No, but I like what I saw. You know.
You like what you saw. She's looking for a Latin boyfriend, folks.
No.
She's looking for what do you want to date? Colombian?
I love Colombians.
Dominican? Guatemalan?
No, I did.
There's a lot of Guatemalans in this.
2 out of 3 I've dated.
I think the guy that cut my hair the other day was Guatemalan.
Really?
Yeah.
Guantanamo.
Yeah. The boys on the block the other day were all cutting each other's hair.
It's your boy. No, but no. I love Latin men. It's like that's the type of dudes I go for, right? But I definitely don't want a boyfriend. Not at this time. No.
Okay, so
comedy's my boyfriend right now.
Okay, so listen, all you male listeners out there, you have to make yourself seem more important than comedy, which is pretty important to you, right, Zoe?
It's the most important, yeah.
The most important. How long have you been doing comedy?
Well, I've been doing it for 8 months, I'm in love with it. But I always wanted to do it. You know, I have this joke, but I'm not going to tell it on here. I won't do it. No, but I will tell you the basis of it.
Okay.
Premise.
Tell me the premise of the joke.
All right. So, I always want to do comedy. Like, it's like when you're a kid, and, if you're like gay or lesbian or something, it's like, what is the name of that? Like, what is it? Like, what am I? It's like, oh, okay, I want to be a comedian. It's like, I knew, I just know the word for it,
Oh.
And then when I was in college, I went up 3 times, and then I went consistent with it on Halloween, on the 31st at Kel's Room.
Kel's Room.
Kel.
Is that
the Marina's
Marina
84. Tacos and comedy. I don't know. He has this funny thing.
Was your first time on stage at Marina 84?
Yeah.
And was it the 31st, or
yeah,
what do you mean that was when you started going consistent?
Yeah. Ever since then, I went up on the 31st. He had this lineup, and
so that was your first time.
In South Florida, yeah.
Oh, okay. So where was your first time?
Technically speaking, in Gainesville when I was in college, and there at UF.
Okay.
I went up at this place called 1982. I did that 2 times, and there was one time where I did it at the Orange and Brew, which is in UF, and some of my professors came and watched. It was fucking awesome.
Your professors came and watched you do comedy. What'd you go to school for?
I went to school. Well, I wanted to get an education,
What'd you get your degree in?
I got a Bachelor of Arts in English. And
I was an English major as well. So English professors came and saw you do comedy.
Yeah.
That is amazing. I wish. Hey, I just wanted. If any of my English professors are out there and they listen to this, I would love it if you guys came to see me do comedy. Zoe's professors went to go see her do comedy.
They did.
That sounds like a hip school, man.
It is. UF is was very interesting. It was really multifaceted, multicultural. It was awesome. And they were very motivating. They thought I was funny right off the bat. And
okay.
So they're like, let me go watch you do some comedy. And I'm like, all right. So
who are your professors? Muppets?
The Muppets are my professors. It's like, Professor, let me pass this, please. No,
Oh,
I definitely,
man.
yeah. No, but no, the Muppets. That would have been even better, even cooler if the Muppets came. Fuck.
Okay. I was just picturing Muppet-like professors wearing like corduroy jackets with patches.
Yeah.
So
No.
so your first couple times you did it, your professors came to. What were your professors' reactions to you
Well,
doing
funny
comedy?
enough, I guess they were easy peasy, because your first time's going up, or your first time's going up. It's as simple as that. But they thought I was funny, and
Did they grade you based on
they
your?
graded me. I
What?
passed my classes. I'm just kidding. No. No, but I did. It's funny that I passed. I'm not gonna lie to you because I really had to like grind for the grades. It wasn't like like some of my friends were like they were natural. They don't show up or anything. Like I actually had to study.
Right.
And I don't know. The professors they liked me.
I thought you would just got by in college just based on your booming personality, which is how I got by in college.
I swear to God, I think that's what it was.
Yeah.
Swear to God. Yeah, because business was booming. No, it wasn't. No. My grades, that's why I want to create a bit. Like, there's so many things on my computer that people have not even seen, and that's the truth.
Right.
And a lot of the time, people are like, wow, you just get up there, here's something new every time. And I do that intentionally because I don't want to sound like the Twilight Zone, like, do-do-do.
So what, you film yourself doing different bits, and you plan on editing them together to make some kind of special at some point, or
special? No, well, in a sense, yeah, because there's stuff on my computer that I can definitely wedge into it,
right?
And definitely expand on.
But you don't post any of these videos.
Oh, I do
online.
actually.
You do?
Yes, I do it intentionally.
Well, I remember my first year. I literally filmed everything I did and posted everything I did on the internet.
Yeah.
And then I don't know. A couple of years later, a couple of years into it, I felt like, that's not really the way to go with the internet. And
yeah. No, I do.
Now I just do this.
just this.
And I feel like if you want to come see me live, people will come see me live. I feel you. Why overexpose my live performance? You know what I mean?
I do get that, but I do it for a few reasons.
Okay.
One, I think it's interesting to see how someone develops, especially from the get-go. I don't put every, live thing on there.
Okay.
Only the ones that I think that have potential that I will possibly use those bits into something bigger.
Okay.
There's a lot of... stuff in between that I'll probably not. But it's cool to see how someone develops from the get-go, how they were initially. Like, I go back, you look at comedians, you're like, I want to see what they were like from the very beginning. Like the tapes that they were, not, like, it doesn't even have to be shows. It could be anything. It could be shows, it could be open mics, anything.
Right.
And I just think that's good also for exposure and also to show that where the originality came from.
Okay.
Like, oh, she said that. I remember when she said this.
Okay. So, I think your way of looking at it is kind of interesting because I have had the thought in the past, like, if you come up with a joke that's really good, you want online content to that joke as quickly as possible, because what if somebody else thinks of that same joke and then suddenly it's like you're the one that stole it.
Maybe not.
You want evidence of you
Mm-hmm.
doing that joke before it. Like, I'll give you an example.
Okay.
The other day, I did a joke at I thought it was gonna go over poorly just because it involves race and involves it's both. I think the feminists would be mad at me, and I could, because here's the joke.
Okay.
If the Black Panther is from Wakanda, and Wonder Woman is from Amazonia, she's an Amazon. Would that make their baby a Wazonian? And is that now the new acceptable term for mulatto?
I don't think there's anything wrong with it. And to be honest, I will never police a comedian of saying what they want to say or not.
Right.
And I'll tell you right now, because there's a lot of controversial stuff that I haven't even unleashed, but people are definitely going to give me fire for it, for sure. But
right.
I think that's funny as shit.
Here's the thing, though. I thought the joke was going to go over poorly. It went over very well. And in fact...
Sweet.
A couple of different black women in the audience approached me to tell me how funny they thought the joke was. and one of them said they were gonna write the joke on Twitter.
Oh shit.
And it's like I don't have the joke written anywhere online. I mean, I'm saying it on the podcast, so I guess that's good. But it's almost like if it's posted on the internet by someone else before me, it's almost like they wrote the joke.
But it isn't, because they
But technically, I didn't even write it down. I just thought of it and said it. So technically, I didn't write the joke. If somebody writes the joke on Twitter, then they're the one that wrote it.
No, screw them.
You know what I mean?
No, it's whoever said it. It's whoever spelled it, dealt it. You understand? No, honestly, if you said that shit. No, she liked that joke so much. She's like, I'm going to eat it up. I'm going to post it. You should have been like, hey, why don't you follow me and tag me?
Yes, that's what I said. I was like, make sure you put quotes around it and put my name. You know what I mean?
Make sure you know who's fucking me, all right? Get the fuck out of here with taking my shit. All right, listen, lady. It's like that, though.
No, but at the same time, if a joke is that, sometimes a joke in itself can be bigger than a comedian. Like, all right, let me give you an example. If you coin a phrase, if you're the one to coin a phrase, sometimes people it'll end up in the lexicon. People keep saying it, and then
you gonna name your child lexicon?
No. All right. What I'm saying is the Wazonian thing. If people start saying that, then it's almost like what Tracy Morgan did with badonkadonk. He's the first guy to ever say badonkadonk.
I never knew where it came from. There you go.
It was a joke he had. It was about like seeing a woman's ass bounce up and down. It's
or like when Kevin Hart's
like and then people started saying it. People don't even realize it was Tracy Morgan that coined that phrase.
Yeah, and it's like when Kevin Hart was like, all right, like that, shit like that.
What, like Matthew McConaughey?
No, Kevin Hart. He has this whole thing and everyone started saying it, like when he's like, all right, like it came from him, it came from his bit. What bit that is, you ask? I couldn't recite it.
All right, that just sounds like...
Swear to God, look it up on YouTube.
All I can think of is Matthew McConaughey when you say, all right.
Really?
Yes.
No.
I've never heard Kevin Hart say, all right.
Maybe either
Jim
one of the
Carrey goes, alrighty then.
Actually, well, no. Now
It's all good. Let's get back to you. Let's talk about
well, no. Here's the thing. One of two things happened with that. Either he was making fun of Matthew McConaughey, or he actually did say it. That's what I can. Who came first, the chicken or the egg? That's
the thing. When you coin a phrase, it's like something that's so small, but like yet so relevant and flowing.
Yeah.
It's what came first, the chicken or the egg? Like, maybe Tracy Morgan wasn't the first person to say badonkadonk. Maybe there was some guy in friggin' L.A. that thought of the Wazonian thing before me and
doubtful.
I don't know. Have you ever? Did you ever make up words when you were a kid?
Yes. One of them was Kabrak Eliath, and I have a tape of it too.
What?
Yeah, Kabrak Eliath. I'm not even kidding.
What does that mean?
Yeah.
And let me. Can you spell this for me?
Okay, I don't know how to spell it well, maybe.
All right, let's try it. Write it down. Kabrak Eliath.
So maybe I'm gonna say it's with a K.
Okay.
Kabrak. Let's see. Hold on. I want to say it's with a Kabrak. Hold on. Kabrak. I've never written it. Look, this is dope. Kabrak E.
Oh, it's all right, let me read this out for
Don't even know.
the
Actually,
audience.
no, you know what? No. Maybe it's with a C. Who cares? K looks cool too.
All right, so this is how the word is spelled before we talk about its definition. It is Kabrock.
I got the Brock from Obama.
Dash, capital E, dash, capital Liath. Now, the E is in the middle, almost like the word Quickie Mart on The Simpsons.
Yeah.
Which I find fascinating. Now, Kabrak Eliath, what does this mean?
Well, I have the tape. There was a few words in the mix when that tape was made. It was when I was like, I don't know, 3, 4, or 5 years old. It was really funny too. But I would say if something was dark, I would say it's darking in here. Okay, and Kabrak Eliath was, I think, if I had to remember at this point in time, I think it was something that I was making up. And I said, this is the brand's name. I said, this is Kabrak Eliath. Even my mom was like, what? Did I birth this child? Like, what's going going on here? No, actually, she ran with it. She actually, as a Jewish mother, anything I could have said, she was like, oh God, like nothing.
I didn't think of it till just now, but it kind of sounds like a Jewish word a little bit.
A little bit.
Kabraki life.
Well, it had to do with broccoli. It had to do with broccoli, first of all.
Right.
And I think I was trying to sell or upsell some type of food, if you will. Okay, and I named it Kabraki Life. And you know what? That's going to go on YouTube. If I want to brand my own shit, no, I'm just kidding, no. But if I want to show early beginnings of Zoe Zwilling and why she's so freaking weird, it starts from childhood. It must.
What else? Did you do anything else weird when you were a kid?
Yeah, lots of things.
All right, I want to hear. You got stories for me, and I want to hear.
I don't know. Okay. Like, I do have this newish joke, because it's about, like, a 2-monther or something like that. Okay. And I still, funny enough, all these new jokes I have, I need to write down. So after our podcast, that's my game plan. Writing all the newbies down, amongst other things. But, yeah, so it's not even like, all right. So when I was a kid, what did I invent? What did I make? Was that the question in hand? I feel like I'm...
What other weird things did you do when you were a kid?
Okay, yeah. So I would. But
I'm still not quite sure what Kabraki Life means. Maybe we'll get back to that.
We'll get back to it after these messages. No. So here we go. So, like, I would wear my dad's shirts on my hips because that's how skinny as a kid I was. Okay. Yeah. And then, like, I'd be singing Celine Dion. Okay. And like this,
so you'd be wearing your dad's shirts like pajamas?
Well, no. Like the neck of the shirt would be like that's how skinny I was. I was wearing the neck of the shirt on my hips, like I was a kid. Oh. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So you were basically wearing your dad's shirt as a dress.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a long skirt, and then I would throw up one of his shirts or like a towel and make like a babushka out of it. Okay. And I'd start singing like and shit like that. And I had my dog Alfie, and he was great. And he would always bite my feet, and I'd be like, yeah, and I'd be like, stop biting your feet. No, but it was funny because my influences weren't typically comedians growing up, believe it or not. Right. Both my mother and my father are very funny. Okay. My bubbliness is like for my mother. My dad is he's just a funny dude in general. But he's more structured, if you will. Right. Yeah. And then, like, influences, like, my main influences were Celine Dion. That was the first concert I ever went to. Okay. And 2 others were, Missy Elliott and Eminem. Right. And Ludacris, too. But, like, a lot of the things, because I had an older half-sister. So she introduced me to hip-hop and everything else like that. But... I still have a lot of comedians and catching up to do. Like, I'm actually going to make a little event and see who wants to watch comedy with me because I need to, like, people will be like, oh, this comedian you remind me of, or blah, 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 or look at this one. I'm like, who the hell is that? And the fact that I don't know.
So you say you're more influenced by hip-hop than you are comedy?
To a large degree, yeah. Yeah? Yeah. I would say music, sure.
So, but I have comedy. There must be a comedian that you.
There's 2.
Look okay, so who?
There's 2, and everyone knows these guys. Right. All right, but there's a reason why everyone knows these guys. Okay. You don't have to know comedy. You don't have to know. Just like how people like know who Tiger Woods is. Right. Or the Williams sisters are. They know because that's how big they are. Right. So Eddie Murphy and Chris Rock.
Eddie Murphy and Chris Rock.
Yeah, but that would make sense.
Okay. Yeah. I love Eddie Murphy and Chris Rock. You should listen to Chris Rock's podcast he does with Mark Maron. He talks a bit about him at the comic strip in Manhattan. I performed there. This is the most amazing club. Wow. They film your performance. They give you a DVD. Most places will charge you money for that kind of thing, but if you get a chance to perform there, they'll give you a DVD of your performance.
That's amazing.
It's a great club. If you're in the New York area, get out to the Comic Strip podcast. It's a great club. But the Comic Strip, Eddie Murphy discovered Chris Rock at the Comic Strip. Really? Yeah, that's how he kind of broke into doing a lot more, bigger shows, and eventually moved on to do SNL. But he was the only black comic that was hanging out at the Strip, and apparently he wasn't even really one of the main guys. He was one of the late night comics. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And but Eddie Murphy was performing there. He wanted somebody to open for him. Chris Rock was the guy.
Perfect.
And that's before you know it, Chris Rock is pulling up to clubs driving Eddie Murphy's car.
Damn. Wow. That's insane. No, but those guys in particular are actually naturally funny. So anything they say can be said, will turn out funny. It is, absolutely. And the fact that they narrowed in on material of what to write. Shut the fuck up! I'm doing a podcast! I'm just kidding. And my phone just went off. I don't know what that was.
Do you want to turn the sound off on that?
I'm going to just turn it off completely. I'll get like text at like weird hours of the... I'll get text at normal hours of the day or I'm like, who the hell is this? Alright. Bye-bye now. Samsung's like, no, I'm melting. No, I'm just kidding. Alright, but anyways.
So what about their what about their performances like influences you?
Like I said, first of all, they're naturally funny.
Right.
Their material is so controversial and so hysterical. They both have the three things that everyone, whether you're a woman or a man, need to be, in my opinion, especially as a comic. If they are intelligent as hell,
right?
They are hysterical, and they are handsome as hell. If you have all three of those things, whether you're a woman or a man, I mean, a woman wants to be beautiful. I'm not saying she's a handsome woman. I'm just saying. But in general, if you have all three of those things.
Okay, I apologize out there in podcast. I said that Zoe wanted a Latin boyfriend.
Wait.
It's a black guy, preferably a famous black comedian.
Well, hold on now, though. Hold on. Like I said, I don't want any boyfriend right now. And listen, like Latin's the flavor that I go for. But as far as those guys, like blacks are and Jews, but I mean they stick together. But I've said that before. But blacks are the leaders of the world, and that's not even negotiable. That's facts. They are. Well, there was one. That was one we just had. But no, as far as anything that is made, I would say they're pretty much the trendsetters of the world. And,
right. And I agree.
Yeah, that's not
trendsetters. Yes, definitely.
Absolutely. And about them, yeah. So yeah, even just their cadence, like what they say, how they say it. The fact that Eddie Murphy can do impersonations and physical comedy and wrap things around and go full circle, and man, and he uses like a.
Okay, I like how you said that. Wrap things around and go full circle.
Yes.
Is that in a sense what you try to do with your comedy?
What I will, yeah. There's a lot of goals in there, but because I'm definitely new, I'm like straight out the boat.
I noticed when your performance you do voices, but you also tell stories.
Yeah.
So it's good. It's good to get both in the same context.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But they're both extremely confident, and they're both they're very direct.
Right.
You know, there's no beating around the bush, and I just think that there's like literally I'll be dying when I listen to them. Like a lot of the time, like I'll think things are funny, but they literally have me rolling. Like, and I don't know. I just think that they're the cream of the crop. They're the best of the best. So as far as I'm concerned, you know, I mean, and yeah, they take the cake on that.
You know, I normally write a comedy sketch for the comedians to read, for us to read together. But you said you want to do it Wednesday, and then you were like, I'll do it today. And I was like, you know what? That's fine. You know, because it's I feel like it was a now or never type situation. You know,
a lot of the time it is with me with everything. I'm like Thursday. I'm like, go to the Buddha and then to you. I don't know about that. You know, because I was like, I'm like, it's my half day. I usually use that as nap time. I'm not kidding, because I go up in mics all the time and I work. And
so what do you do for work in real life, not in comedy life?
Right. So I'm a practice manager at an animal hospital.
Okay.
Yeah, and I work long hours and everything.
An animal.
No, it's okay. Listen, I tell the animals, I'm like, listen, you're a little animal. Like, they don't care. They don't care. If they don't care, you should be caring. You know, if you want to call it animals, by all means, Heath. I'm serious.
Okay, no, but are you humorous at the animal hospital?
Yes, and everyone at the hospital knows what I'm going for, and I'll be like, look at this video, like I torture them with comedy. No, but really I do. And they get me. They know that I've been wanting to do this for a long time.
Right.
They've known me that I want to do this even before I even started.
Right.
And I go in and, you know, I do what I gotta do. So
what kind of animals usually come into an animal
oh,
hospital?
just cats and dogs. No, seriously, just that's what we see. But there are so many cute cats and dogs. I gotta tell you, they really are cute. And it's comical because you can use some of your material or try new material on clients that at least are appropriate behind the counter.
Yeah.
Which is cool because I need a lot more clean comedy.
Right.
And sometimes I'll even stop myself. I'm like, well, I'm behind the counter right now, so I can't go full-fledged, and it's cool. And then I'll tell the clients about my comedy, and some clients have even come out to watch, which is really neat.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
What about does anything ever like really funny happen with the animals there?
Clients, yes.
It sounds like you're thinking of one specific thing.
Well, it's just some people some clients I don't understand how these women trap these guys into marriage. I'm serious. The way the clients go about things or how they
much like one of the cats you have come in trap a mouse. That's
right.
What you're saying.
Yeah, in a sense, I'm like, how the hell do these women get married? What are they doing? I don't understand it because some of them are so nasty. Either the way they talk to their husbands or the way they talk to the staff, and I'm just like, God damn, and nice women, they gotta watch their asses, especially feminist women. No, because feminist women, they'll go above and beyond. We're experimental in every essence, in every lane, right?
Okay.
And some of these women, I feel like they're conservative women. The men must do and act and be the way they need.
Okay. Well, you're working in an animal hospital. I'm sure the people that are coming in never want to be there. It's always a chore. It's always a chore when you have a sick.
Well, actually, the animals sometimes know they're at the vet's office, and you can tell they cower and stuff. But some of them are excited as hell. There's regulars.
Yeah.
Yeah. We even have daycare there, believe it or not. So some pets are they go in there, they hang out and whatever, and they have a great time. They have friends.
Wow.
Some of these animals have more friends than even I. Than even anyone. I mean, it's amazing. They have their own crew. It's amazing.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean the clients they're I've been there a while, so I would say I'm definitely the glue there, which is cool. You gotta be. If you're the practice manager, you have to be the face, and you have to definitely bring in the clientele. That's one of the main things. So that helps with comedy too, because you want to win over the audience at least, so that they can listen to you. The first thing, in my opinion, when you're first starting, is to prove to people that you're funny. First of all, get them to listen to you.
Right.
Get them to listen to you, and especially as a woman, that's why I have that joke where if I feel like something's a little tanking, I'll be like, ah. It's like you just got to this bar, and you left your woman at home, and then I get to the mic, and it's like, woman comedian, come on! I go on and on about that, and it's funny because it's true. And then sometimes when, oh my God, Julie Baez has a room, and I went to it the other day, and it was hilarious.
Julie Baez is extremely funny.
Extremely, and she has this room. And I went in, and it was so much fun. Oh my God, the energy! But everyone was already cranked up. It was already late in the night. I'm sure they've already been liquored up.
Where does she do her room? So let's give her a quick advertisement.
You're right. To be honest with you, I'm really.
Do you remember the name of the place?
Yeah. Hold on. I think I'll tell you right now.
You turned off your phone.
Oh.
You can turn it back on. That's okay. We'll keep talking about it.
I'll talk about it, and then I'll tell you what it is. No, because it's some mystical name. First of all.
Okay.
So I have to. It's a mystical name. It's like a mystical creature. No, but I'll turn it back on just for her. But yeah, and there was two things that happened. Okay, first of all, they were rowdy, and there was this little tiny adorable stage, and then I stepped down from it a little bit, and then there was this guy kneeling down to this woman, almost asking for her hand in marriage. I'm like, and I went up to him, and I reached until I actually touched his butt, and I was like, ah! And I'm like, you see, I don't even get a slap in the hand for that, not even a slap in the wrist, not nothing, because I'm a woman now. If a man were to do that, oh, and they laughed at that easy. And then one other thing, these two guys their backs were to me, but they were talking, and I'm like, break it up over here, and they start listening. Everyone.
Is that something you like to do though? Is talk about the differences between men and women on stage?
Well, yeah, absolutely. That's something that there's a lot of things I need to work on. I want to tell you what room this is, and then I'll tell you a lot of the funny rooms that I think are good around South Florida. But first and foremost, let's give Julie Baez something that she deserves, and I will tell you right now what it is. Okay, it is called, this is, there it goes, Gypsy Moon, Vape and Brews.
Gypsy Moon? And when does she?
It's in Pines, Pembroke Pines.
Pembroke Pines? Mm-hmm. And when does she do it?
Well, this is an open mic. So far, this is the one I've seen so far. I definitely look out for things. This last one was on June 30th. it started at 9. I went there rather late. That's as far as I know. But I'm gonna look. I'm gonna look and see when the next one is because I'm definitely going back. It's really a great room.
Okay, so check out Gypsy Moon with Julie Baez.
Yeah.
So is there like a kind of a female comedian clique that you hang with, or
actually no.
or no,
I definitely.
But who on the scene influences you as besides Julie Baez?
Right.
As a
She's
female.
cool.
Comic?
She's very cool, actually. But no, I mean, actually, funny enough, on and off stage, I have mostly guy friends.
Okay.
That's always been the case for me. Now, I do have like a few, stragglers of like women friends. I have jokes about that too. But yeah, as far as that's concerned, I don't know. Guys are great, and it's funny because like
you kind of have to be friends with guys if you're going to be a
you would
comedian.
think. I would think, but some women actually, I feel like they're girls. They're women. Like I feel that too, and that's fine. That's great.
Completely independent. They don't need any male comic friends to make it in comedy because they just do their own thing.
I mean, I don't know about that, but I would say maybe if you're, but no, there's definitely some women out there who are very funny. But as far as the dudes that down here, like rooms that I hit up and stuff like that, obviously Theodore Dobrik.
Right.
I like, I go there every Monday night.
You've been close with him since you started doing comedy, right?
That's right. Yep.
It's almost like he's kind of taken you under his wing, like.
Yeah, he's definitely a good friend. He's a comedy mentor. He's hysterical. He's actually the only one besides me that I see that does physical comedy to the extent that he does it in things like that. So I get I think that's hysterical. So I think it's funny.
And he's had a lot of longevity with his room too.
His
room. He's been doing his room for years.
Mm-hmm.
The 19th hole, which is
in Hollandale.
Mm-hmm. And he does that on Monday nights. Monday nights at 10. So if you haven't checked out Ciro Dobrik, check him out.
That's where I usually, scurry up most of my material, whether I'm just like freestyling it or whether I'm trying something out.
You have a strong work ethic with comedy. How many nights a week do you do comedy?
I do try to go up every night.
Every night?
I do try. Now, occasionally, all right, I definitely try to. Now, on Thursday nights, I'll either watch comedy, or I'll go up if it's Nippers or something. But I'll try to at least do 5 times a week at least.
What are you planning on doing this Thursday? Are you planning on going to Nippers, which is an all-woman comedy show, or my roast?
Your roast.
Oh, hey! Sorry, ladies!
Sorry, ladies! It's not even like that. No. I love Nippers, and a lot of the ladies are going up on that night are very funny. But I gotta see this roast. First of all, I gotta get better at roast, and not that I'm in the roast, because I'm not. But sometimes I'm like, oh, dear, what am I going to say? I don't know, and it's kind of hard. I gotta get better. I thought I'd be very, very good at it, but you never know until you try, But there's always room for improvement. It's all good. But I can't wait, and it's gonna be exciting,
Yeah. Well, we don't have to talk about my roast. We're
gonna talk about the roast from Boyle.
We're talking about you right now. Well, do you where do you see yourself like in the future with comedy? Because I feel like you're so passionate about it. Like you definitely see yourself doing something, right?
Well, yeah.
What do you think the next level is? That you just want it strictly stand up?
I want strictly stand up.
Acting? No acting.
I'm not saying I wouldn't, but it's really not. I'm not thinking about that. I mean, I definitely stand up's like my first love. Like I put that first before me. Like I always sleep over it.
Really?
Literally.
See, you're so theatrical the way you speak. I always just assume I've always assumed when talking to you she's gonna go out for like auditions like. At least be in some good commercials,
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know. Sometimes I got off the mic on what's it called, that Yo Space, and the new host was like, "Hey, you gotta do some voiceovers or some cartoon things." So I'm like, "Cut," But I don't know. I definitely, like I said, comedy's my first love. So
well, this is basically a voiceover for a cartoon.
There
thing.
you go. There you go. This is
it's not an animated thing, but it is your voice
Just
in a
my
cartoon.
Voice. You're right, absolutely. No, you're right. But no, I definitely I love stand up. Now, as far as the future goes, obviously I have a lot of work to do. I have a lot of work to do. I'm only 8 months in.
Right.
Consistently, like
of
I said.
But you've hit the ground running. You say you get on stage every night.
Well, Well, I mean, if you look at my track record, I mean, it definitely shows most nights, at least. At least five. Sometimes 3, but it just depends on what's going on that week, you know? But I like to get up as much as I can for a few reasons. One,
Are you going somewhere tonight?
What's tonight? Tonight is Sunday. Is Sunday, right?
Yes.
Like, what day? Where are we? You know? I was thinking about it, but I'm probably not because I have a lot to write.
Okay.
You know, and sometimes I need to leave time for that, more time for that.
Because you have to have a good balance. Like, if you spend all your time performing and all your time focusing on performing, you can't really write you can't write nearly as much.
You're right. Absolutely. And so, yeah, my plan was actually to write. And so since I couldn't, I was like, I'm like stalling, you know. And I'm like, I'm gonna hit up Matt. Like, when is this podcast going on? And you're like, well, I'm having the roast on Thursday. And it's like, no, we're gonna do it right now. You're like, okay. So, but, you know, so I was like, let's do this. And then I'll go back to writing, and then I'll be in, like, the comedy jam, you know. It'll already be in my mind, you know.
Right. No, it's great. You know what? I want to bring it back to one of your heroes, which is Chris Rock.
Uh-huh.
And do you feel like you look up to him as someone who has a great work ethic in comedy? Because I always seen him as somebody who, you know, he spends a lot of time writing, and he only performs when he has something he feels like he needs to say.
That's smart to do.
You know what I mean?
He's already developed himself, though. You know what I'm saying? So he has that. You know, he's not at the point of the game where he has to prove that he's funny. Everyone already knows that. You know, but now he has to, yeah, and, you know, and he is, I mean, he keeps going and going, like, almost everything. I mean, you're right, even from the very early years, even to now, like, I just watch his recent stuff. I'll watch that, like, again and again and again, just like I watch Raw.
Right.
I
like Chris Rock's old stuff.
Yeah,
It's like some of the funniest stuff
oh
you've
my
ever
goodness,
seen.
for sure.
Not that I don't like his newer stuff is very eye opening to a lot of things.
Yeah.
But his old stuff is just genuinely funny.
I mean, I don't know. I died in a tambourine, but even with Eddie Murphy, like, I think that Delirious showed how he's funny.
Right.
And he really went hard at that. And then once people understood it, then he can go more controversial and show in Raw what his actual, real, like, deep opinions are. And they're both opinionated, but
I would agree with you there.
Yeah.
You know something? I think you should stick with Chris Rock's work ethic. And you should get one of those suits, Eddie Murphy, either the purple or the red.
My God, right?
But imagine if there was a little short Jewish girl running around in Eddie Murphy's suit from Raw.
Oh God!
You would be instantly famous.
Instant match. No, I don't know about that. I don't know. No. I mean, I don't know if I could rock that. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I wear a lot of black. Like, that's a known thing, but. I mean, those suits were worked at the time. I mean, man, he looked real good, and I'm not gonna lie to you. and they both look good when they're talking. Like, it's nice. I'm not gonna even lie. Like, there's really no, those guys.
There's no famous female comics though that you look up to.
Lucille Ball.
But I think you kind of have a Lucy thing going.
Yeah, maybe.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, she did physical comedy too.
You watched I Love Lucy, right?
Yeah.
I think one of my favorite things about I Love Lucy is that, you know, Ricky is always trying to, you know, run the club, but Lucy's the performer. He's the guy. He's the business end of the guy at the Coco Cabana, his club. But she is the comedic performer. It's always
she's so silly.
She's always ends up in the spotlight by the end of the episode.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And a Latin boyfriend. Lucy, I feel is the perfect
example,
person for you to look up to.
Actually, he was actually the first Cuban in the scene in the main industry as far as film goes, for sure. He was. They're like, oh, well, here's what a Latin man looks like.
Did you know that Desi Arnaz invented syndication?
I did not.
He did. When they filmed the first episodes of I Love Lucy, they had the tapes rolling. And he, the guys that were the cameramen were about to throw out the film. He's like, "What are you doing with that?" He's like, "We're saving that."
Wow.
And they're like, "What?" Like, that was a crazy idea. He's the first person intelligent enough to we're doing a show and then we are going to rerun it.
That's freaking dope.
He invented
reruns.
I mean, that's amazing.
That is smart. That's wow. I never knew that. I really didn't.
And that's
the
how
more you know.
That's how him and Lucy became some of the most powerful people in Hollywood with Desilu Productions.
Also Angela Johnson, I find funny. I do. And there was one. There was a specific set she had when she was young. Okay, and man, I mean, she still kept that set, which is great.
Right.
But this specific set it cracks me up all the time. It's her nail bit, but she was so young and into it, and everything like flowed. It was so perfect. And it was funny. And someone had to do it. Someone had to do that. Someone had to write about the nail bit because all women, most women.
What is the nail bit?
Well, most women go to nail salons, right?
Okay.
And she's sitting down at the salon, and she basically, the premise here is that, they try to upsell things to her.
Right.
But she does the accent perfect. She's like, how are you today? How are you doing today? She's like, and she's like, she goes into this whole spiel about what she's getting and how uncomfortable she feels, and then she goes into it, and she also shows how they talk about her and things like that in their own language.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And it's just the whole bit is honestly hysterical because it literally is the truth. It's what goes on in the nail salon, but she made it, and that's why it's so funny because it's so truthful, it's so honest.
I think you need more material about the animal hospital. I think that's grounds for a sitcom. Is animal
There's definitely
hospital.
funny things that happen, and over the years, even before I became the practice manager, I would do impersonations of clients.
You would?
And yeah, even my own dog. And I would do this thing, because my dog used to eat food off the table, but he used to go like this. You can't see this right now, but he would literally go.
Zoe is literally down on the ground in my kitchen right now. And
he would literally be food on the table.
And she's up to the table like a dog.
But he would look at it, and he would look at it with his eyes like a cartoon, and he'd be like, oh! And basically, his head would be on the table, scarfing it down, and be like, no, take that out, no, stop it, and I'd gulp,
That's very Cheech and Chong-esque of you. You should do that to the stool on stage.
I'm probably going to.
Do you do that?
No, yeah, absolutely.
All right, if you, I'm sorry, you guys can't see what she
No,
just
that was funny as hell.
But it is very funny.
I do. No, I'm definitely going to do that. It's hilarious. I mean... And it's funny of what, different people find funny. My mom, I showed her one of the videos from Sarah's room because it's Facebook Live, and the ones that I post, right? And so I showed her this one.
I just want to make it clear that nothing sexual was going on when you were
Absolutely
cracking
not.
down.
No.
I don't know if our listeners know.
I don't know if our listeners can chill. No, but I definitely get very goofy and loony on stage and everything like that. Everyone knows that. And no, that's for next time, but there will be a next time. No, but that's what my dog did, and it was fucking funny. But
you said you were doing impressions of clients, then you started doing an impression of a dog.
Yeah. So one of the clients I have comes into and this is what I don't understand. We open at 7:30, and I get calls at 7:30?
Okay.
What? I just don't understand. What are they doing? Are they waiting by are they waiting by
They are waiting. Their dog or cat is sick.
It could be anonymous. No.
Their dog or cat gets sick at 5 in the morning. They're they don't open until 7:30, and then they have the common courtety to wait
Not
till
even.
7:30.
Not even. Sometimes it's just as like this one client, my dog's urinating. My doggy's urinating yellow. Is that normal? Why, yes. Yes, it is normal. You can go back to sleep now. Are you sure you don't want to ask Dr. Z? I'll ask him for you, okay? What number would you like to be called on? No, but honestly, normal questions like that. And sometimes, sure, no, if there's an emergency, I know how to act very quickly. But there's definitely funny things in the hospital. Absolutely. There was this one message that was left I have it. I literally took a picture of it, but it says something like, I have 3 dogs to have vaccinated, 2 dogs to groom, and 1 cat to euthanize. When can I come in? I'm like, wow.
Whoa.
Wow. And I thought that was the most funniest thing I've ever seen. They want to get everything in one shot. And we are. We are a one-stop shop. We do vaccines.
Well, some people
surgery,
look at their animals with love and content, and a lot of other people just look at them like they're things. That is very much like that. Let's list again what it was.
It was
there's such different things. Dude, the dogs are being groomed, the cats being euthanized.
Yeah, something along the lines of either 3 dogs were groomed or 2 dogs were vaccinated, and the 1 cat needed to be euthanized. But the whole thing was, I found the humor in that because, usually you want to maybe do that in separate occasions. You have to really prep for something euthanizing. The factory's like, all right, let's do it all right now. I'm like, okay, but No, definite funny things happen in the hospital. But yeah, but what else can I tell you at this point?
Well, we could get into some of the deeper 1,000 comics questions.
Okay. All right, we could do that. Oh wait, I never answered the question. Obviously,
we still don't know what Kabrakaliath means.
Kabrakaliath. Like I said, I think it was about the broccoli. I think it was, and I was branding my own. It definitely stemmed from broccoli.
Okay.
Okay, and then the Liath made it seem like it was like this, like look at these broccoli, like it was like.
So
this,
the broccoli was a monster?
It wasn't a monster. It was just like, listen, if you're gonna, there's all these names for even the vegetables, like what like how the bananas have their own little stickers on it.
Right.
Yeah. So that's the broccolis. That's Kabrakaliath.
Okay, because broccoli is like bundled together when it's all together.
It's like a bundle.
It's a bundle of that's Kabrakaliath.
Yeah. I'll settle with that. That sounds good. That sounds like what I was going for.
It's a massive amount of broccoli.
Yeah. It's the brand of the broccoli, all right, man? I don't know what else you want to tell me. But no.
You should do broccoli commercials. There hasn't been a commercial for broccoli in years.
It's like, where are you taking this comic career, Where are you taking this? It's like, I decided to settle with broccoli commercials. It's something I always dreamt of, and
then we could
I'm just kidding, no.
You could do your dog bit where you eat the broccoli up, and you like eat the broccoli off the table.
Exactly. I'm gonna do that on stage. No, there's a lot of things I haven't done on stage. There's so much. So much uncovered, but it's gonna get there. It's just time. But you're right. I need to write a lot, and I still need to get up a lot. But it's a work in progress.
All right, you ready for the deep 1,000 comics questions?
Yes, but as far as the future question, you asked me a futuristic question.
Question.
You said, where am I going with it?
Oh,
obviously,
tell me about where you're going with it.
Yeah, well, obviously, it's like, she would go all the way. Like, if I could do that, of course, a lot of people want to do that, and that's what I want to do. Like, this is what I want to do. It's what I love to do. So, anyhoozle, let's go on with the 1,000 questions, shall we?
I wish I had 1,000 questions.
Or like the riff thing.
Oh, the deeper question.
Yes.
Do you believe in God?
No, I don't.
No. And were you religious ever? Because you talk about being Jewish.
I do,
on
but
stage.
if you catch the jokes,
right.
they reveal that I'm secular.
Okay.
I say in the early like the first months of my comedy, I said something along the lines of that, explaining that when I was like.
Secular meaning you're culturally Jewish, or
culturally, absolutely.
Yes,
I mean, you can't take that away. Like literally,
right.
like my looks, like people know that I'm Jewish, And there's definitely an ethnic and cultural part to it. But as far as religious, like both my family members were secular. I wasn't even, what is it, bat mitzvah? That's what I'm saying. I said I haven't been to a synagogue since like a bat mitzvah. I'm like, no, or a funeral. That's what I said very early on. And so if they caught that, if they were listening,
right?
That's what I have said. And that's true. I'm definitely an atheist. My dad is too. My mom's an atheist, but she's very hippie. She's like a hippie, like for real. So
your mother's a hippie atheist.
I would say so.
Okay.
Yeah. My dad's very cut to the chase.
And your father? Up. Your father is.
They're both ethnically Jewish,
Right, but but your father's not religious either.
Not at all.
Okay, so I'd like for you to define like hippie atheist. Like,
yeah.
Is that like Zen?
Like, yeah.
Is it like me? Does she light incense and hang tapestries?
Yeah. My mom's very much like that. She's like, I know her on the podcast and everything, but she's like she's experimental, and she was part of the 60s and 70s. My parents are older.
Okay.
They're
How old are they?
All right. So my mom is, I think she's 6 or 7 years younger than my dad. My dad is 69.
Right.
So what? My mom's like what?
Your mother's. I'm sorry. So your mother's.
I think she's about 6 or 7 years younger than my dad. I'm pretty sure she is. And this is the thing.
Okay.
I'm very bad with birthdays. I'm very bad with like certain dates. It's terrible.
My parents are older too, so they were a part of the counterculture. Is what you're saying? Like
counter tables?
Did they go to Woodstock?
yeah. My mom did.
Your mother really went to Woodstock.
Yeah.
Wow.
My mom marched in the women's movements to get us to allow us to govern our own bodies,
right?
So that we could decide for ourselves if we choose or not choose to.
So your mother was a big time feminist.
Oh yeah, extreme. But
Okay.
my dad was too, though. I mean, like he brought me up, and to the point where he'd make this joke. He's like, "Son, is it okay if I call you son?" He doesn't have sons, just me and my
Right.
sister. It's hilarious. And I'm like, "Fine, I like whatever."
Okay.
Like, we don't get to object there. He's like, "Son, what I tell you?"
Right, so now I'm starting to see your father's sense of humor. Before it just seemed like you was like, you just
No, he's a serious.
kind of put him in this box, but now,
No,
son.
Yeah, exactly. No, he's a serious dude, but he is funny as hell, and he had some really outlandish stories growing up and everything. And no, but he's definitely beyond his years in terms of like parenting. Like he's I mean, he's always been there for me, and he got me into tennis and golf, and I used to actually compete like up until I was like 18.
Right.
And like, that was my religion at the time, because they have certain guidelines and rules. You have to follow certain etiquette, certain things, like, always follow
Would you say
through.
comedy's like your religion now?
Well, sure, absolutely.
Okay.
But at the time growing up, like, he's like, well, you have better things to do. You have tennis and golf to play. Like, you don't need to go freaking none of this religious jargon, And so, he helped me through my schooling and college and everything. Even to this day, if I call up on my parents, I'm gonna be like, Dad, what do you think of this? Like he's not one of those dads where it's like, I'm gonna beat the guys off with the bat. They hurt my daughter. No, it's not. He's not like Dad. He's like Dad.
Right.
He's just Dad. And so, he would let me have to. He's like, don't come crying at me if this guy, wrecks your heart. He's very firm. Like even as a kid, I can at least understand where guys come from when they're like, you can't cry. Like if I cried, he'd be like, cool it, like straighten up. Like that's how my dad raised me.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, so he raised you to be emotionally strong.
Yeah, and I think it helps with comedy.
I would definitely say that that helps with comedy
For sure,
because you can't get your there's something I used to say to myself, especially if like I just went through like a breakup or something, and then like I had a show. It's like you got to leave your emotions at the door.
You're right.
Which I still like to this day, and it's still something I have to work on in comedy because you're basically giving your entire self when you're on stage. You know what I mean?
Yep. Absolutely, 100%. And not a lot of comedians are the same as they are often on stage. They're not. If you can actually, like, I feel like, I honestly do. I think that Chris Rock and Eddie Murphy are very similar, probably on and off stage. They're probably very animated. The way they both speak, the way they walk, the way they talk, and the way they think. Like that's just who. Like that's they didn't really. I don't think they really had to discover who they are. I think that they were who they were. And I think that they.
But at the same time, I wouldn't think Chris Rock is exactly how he is on stage. Chris Rock is yelling his points. You think he yells like that at home? I don't.
Chris Rock yells, and he's like I don't even know what it was. Like that's how Chris Rock sounds like to me.
That's actually not a bad impression.
Yeah, thanks. I'm gonna do that on stage at one point. But yeah, no, and I definitely think he probably was very passionate in what he said and how he said it, and he's like, I'm just going to exaggerate it maybe on stage, maybe there's that, I'll give you that, but I definitely think they are very much who they are, and then they molded themselves as, like, they were just so comedic, and they're just, I want to get there. Don't we all? No, but that's how I feel. Oh my God, let's hear the questions. I'm so excited.
All right, we're actually running out of time.
No!
I just want to actually ask you,
Okay.
Do you have any shows coming up? Anything you'd like to promote? Anything you want to put out there for the audience so they?
I definitely haven't cracked certain rooms yet. As often as I've gone up,
right?
As and stuff like that. I definitely haven't cracked certain rooms. I definitely want to break into more rooms,
right?
And that hopefully that that comes with time, and I'm very enthused about that.
Well, let me tell you, if there's a room you really want to be in, then you just have to make yourself known there. Go and watch shows at that room, and just talk to the people that don't like really assert yourself. Just start. If you start,
I'm gonna just put my dick on the counter and say, "Hey, here, put me on stage." No, I'm just joking.
When they see you, it's like it's like me with this. back in Connecticut, there's only a certain number of rooms where I'm from, and it's like when I got to experience all of them just by making myself, available by virtue of being there.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like I haven't explored a lot of the South Florida scene, and I've never done the West Palm Improv. I'd like to do the West Palm.
I actually did that one very early in the game.
But you know something? I don't make myself known there. I don't go there. I don't hang out. I don't watch the shows. So why should people go out of their way to book somebody that hasn't made that's really all you have to do to crack into more rooms is just go to those rooms and experience those rooms. You'll eventually get to go up in those rooms. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel that. Yeah. No, but I mean, there's definitely. I don't think there's any. But I can tell you some of my favorite rooms that I go in right now.
Okay, let's hear some of Zoe's favorite rooms, so you can come out and see Zoe anytime you want. Let's get your schedule down because you get up every night. So
I definitely get up a lot.
So Sundays you go.
Well, no, I mean okay. Carlos has a room, the 10th level.
Right.
That's fun. Monday nights, I like to double dip. I like going at Nadim's room at N2.
N2?
He recently invited me to host
We're doing a lot of advertising for a lot of you guys right now.
That's fine. You told me which ones that
Carlos Perry runs 10th level tavern. Okay.
Yeah. And that's very fun. N2 is really cool. I like that. It's Nadim's room, and then of course Sierra's room's on the 19th hole, and then I like Kel's room because it's a hard room to crack the audience, and especially as a woman, I think for those men to listen to you really have to be really funny.
Kel Thompson, Marina 84.
At the Marina's 84. Yeah. And what else? Wait, Dada's is cool.
So you like rooms where you really have to work to be funny?
Yes, like I said, the first thing you have to do, I think, is to prove that you're funny.
You just listened to Hennessy's podcast, and I remember on Hennessy's podcast we talk about what a rough room Marina 84 is.
Absolutely.
And let me tell you, folks, Zoe here, she likes those tough rooms. She likes having to work for that laugh, and that's how you have a good comic.
Yeah. Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
All right, I think that pretty much wraps it up. I think we're out of time.
And we're out of time. Well, this was definitely fun.
I don't know. I don't mean to cut you off. Is there anything else you want to say?
Yeah, actually, there's one thing that's very interesting that I think on Thursday at Nippers that it's Giovanni's room that he does. And it's really interesting. I don't see anyone else doing this specific. Giovanni,
who used to work the door at the Buddha, now I've kind of taken his place, and he's working. He does Nippers. Yeah.
Nippers. Yeah. No, really, so he'll put a variety of comedians, regardless of their level or how long they've been doing it, and as long as they're funny, he will put you on, and I think that is really a very interesting way to put a show together.
I agree, and I think you know what's funny. I like how you have such passion for it. Mm-hmm. You seem to like all these rooms. Some people
I do. I like them
some
all.
people have very negative attitudes towards rooms where a lot if there's a crowd that's not paying attention. You know what I mean?
No, that's the whole thing. You gotta get them to pay attention. You gotta show them that you're funny, and then they'll listen to you, and then you can really test out your material. Even I like Yo Space too. They're pretty tentative audience, and that's on the Saturdays. And Fridays, verse Fridays. I just did verse Fridays, and that was like the third time I went, and that's all the way in Cutler Bay.
Right.
And that's like whoa, that's way far. But
right.
They're all worth it. I really like them, so it's all good.
so I think in a sense to wrap things up. You are the type of person, if you're a real comedian, you're funny everywhere.
Yeah.
Which I admire about you.
Mm-hmm.
Doing it for years. I've been doing it for 5 years now.
Wow.
You tend to get bitter about some type of things, and you kind of forget that all the world's a stage, and each one of us is a player.
And the last thing I want to tell you too, obviously, if you're funny, you're funny. It doesn't matter. What room it is, it shouldn't matter what room it is. It doesn't even matter what place you go in. Okay, I've seen people kill and shred and have me rolling, and they're like one of the last people,
right?
Versus one of the first people, and it doesn't matter if you're funny, and that's all there is to it.
If you're funny, and that's all there is to it. Thank you so much for being on the show, Zoe. Thank you for listening to 1000 Comics Podcast.
Yeah, well, thank you for having me.